Welcome to the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. Here's your host, Brien Hanley.
Hey, everybody, what's going on? It's your man Big B along with Tim Fitzgerald. Welcome back to the Big 12 Insiders. Today is Power Rankings Day. A lot going on. Had some shakeups. And as we kind of figured, the top has kind of separated himself. And personally, I think by a wide margin, to be honest with you. I think the top three are that much better than everybody else. The middle is a muddle. But at the top of the middle is weird. It's just weird. Let's just say that. But it's the Big 12 power rankings today. There's some changes, obviously, based on what happened this past week. We'll get into it. But before we do anything, ladies and gentlemen, again, first off, I want to thank everybody for wishing me a happy birthday. That was cool to see all that. So I appreciate you guys. But remember to like, follow, subscribe, continue to get in the comments section, and always hit the notification bell so you know exactly when Big 12 Insiders content comes out. Fitz, how are you doing, my man?
I'm good. Welcome back to reality, and a very happy birthday to you, belated. But I hope people realize the significance of this birthday to you personally because of your family history. It's huge. I need you around for like another 30 years. I don't know how long I'll be around, but it sounds like a good number for you.
Yeah, I can dig it. I'm just getting started, man. Especially in this world, I am just getting started, having a ton of fun doing it. So
I really want someday to know that your neighbor's kids call you Old Man Hanley.
Ooh.
Old Man B. Ooh,
yeah, I can't do that. I can't dig with that.
Yeah,
it's bad enough that I get people saying Mr. Hanley, and I'm like, okay. I'm officially old. Yeah. It is what it is. But let's get started on this. So, look at number 16. Hey, you know what? They deserve it. Colorado is at 16. And you give up over 100 points the last 2 weeks. I don't care. Your team has quit Coach Prime. And like I said, I'm a Coach Prime supporter.
I do, man.
But, I mean, now it's just getting silly. And they're getting embarrassed. And good for the teams that are blowing them out. Just continue to blow them out. If they're going to quit, then fine. It is a nightmare going on at Colorado right now. The team has quit on Coach Prime, which is unfortunate. But this is power rankings. This is what it is. You give up that many points in 2 weeks. I don't care what's going on. Colorado is 16, Fitz.
That's harsh, man. Colorado's looking at Oklahoma State like, really? I'm uglier than that?
Yes.
Yeah, but you have been lately. And these are like movable. Yeah, you got earlier in the season, but as we get closer to the games played, that's more important. What you are right now is the most important. And right now, Colorado, with all due respect, because I too am a Prime fan, is hot trash. Very hot trash. Flaming trash.
Yep. Now he's telling people you come here and right the wrong, or you're a cat. If you run, you look at the scoreboard. What am I supposed to think as a recruit? I'm supposed to go to a team that's given up 100 points in 2 weeks? I'm going to run right to that university. Come on, Prime. You sell me something better than that, man, than versus either I'm a dog or a cat. Stop it. At 15, Oklahoma State. Again, not talented. At least they're fighting. They're the exact opposite of Colorado. The exact opposite. Oklahoma State is fighting.
They're fighting. I don't know what offers some of those kids will have if they go into the portal. Some might just stay. A lot might stay. I don't know. Depends on who they can hire. I would be interested to see what offers they get, because I don't see many of these kids getting downgraded for giving up, because this is a really positive sign for their futures, not just as football players, that when facing adversity, they don't cut and run. They strap it up and get after it and try to make something happen. And that's what they've been doing. And it's impressive in that manner. It's really impressive in a manner that isn't good football.
Right.
But they keep trying, man. They keep trying to kick that ball. And, even if they can't do it, they're going to keep putting in the effort. And I love it.
Absolutely. 100%. At number 14, and it might be controversial, but I still have West Virginia at 14. Now, I know they won a big game.
Yeah, dude.
Now, this is the definition of keep fighting. I said it. Look, they're not talented, but they're well coached, and they're going to keep beating. They're going to keep fighting. And sooner or later, when you do that, good things will happen to you. That's what happened to the Mountaineers. They caught Houston. Look, Houston's a better team than they are. They are. They're more talented. They're a better team. But they caught them at the right time and put together the right plan and went on the road and won. Well, I guess you can say going on the road. We'll get to Houston. That's embarrassing. We'll get to that in a minute. But, yeah, good for West Virginia, man. Good for West Virginia. I thought that was a solid win. Something for them to build on, Fitz. Something for them to build on.
How many times have I said on this show, I disagree wholeheartedly with you on that? And this is maybe the first time. I think West Virginia's higher. I can't remember where I put them in my poll. Not just because they won. They won on the road against a team that last week we all had in our top 4 in this conference.
We did.
So it was an impressive win. And judging by the moment in which they are in, I don't know. I bumped them up, I think, all the way up to 12, maybe 13. I skyrocketed them up there, but it was impressive. They looked good. They caught Houston flat-footed. Honestly, as a guy that covers Kansas State, it reminded me of last year when Kansas State went to Houston about the same time of year and was a massive favorite and got beaten by Houston because they kind of went through the motions and the other team played exceptionally well. And it was the reverse Uno card on the Houston Cougars this year. They suffered the same fate.
No, you're exactly right. I got them here. I mean, look, I promise it's not personal. It wasn't personal. I've seen them play in the accumulation. I mean, first of all, I guess I could have put them ahead of West Virginia, but 2 weeks or not West Virginia over UCF, who, by the way, I have at 13. We'll just start there. But 2 weeks earlier, UCF beat the brakes off of them. So it's like, okay, it's week to week, but it wasn't like it was a month ago that UCF beat them. It was 2 weeks ago that UCF did wind sprints up and down the field on them. That's what I base it on. And I get it. It's a week-to-week thing, but I'm going to give UCF the benefit of the doubt, even though they got the brakes beat off of them by Baylor. And you look at the rest of their schedule, I thought, man, that's one that they have an opportunity to win if they're going to try to get to a bowl game. You look at the UCF schedule the remaining of the way, trying to at Tech, at BYU. I'm like, okay, it'll be tricky for them to get a bowl win or to get to a bowl game. But having said all of that, they're ahead of schedule. They're at 13 in the power rankings, but they are definitely ahead of schedule, Fitz.
Agreed. It's yeah, I got nothing on that. I got nothing. But yes, I agree.
At number 12, I got Iowa State. Iowa State, they are in a downward spiral. It has completely come off the rails for them. They've lost 4 games in a row. Rocco Beck looks like a below average quarterback at this point. I don't know what's going on at Iowa State right now. Maybe this is what they were. You know, I called them frauds about 4 weeks ago, and everybody got mad at me. Doesn't look like I was wrong, unfortunately, because I didn't want to necessarily be right. It looks like I was. It has just come off the rails at Iowa State, Fitz.
Yeah, it has. Maybe this is the Dublin effect catching up to them. Both teams have had these periods of lousy football, although I think Iowa State was a little bit better this week. Arizona State was just good. But I've got something to say. Let me clear my throat so I can say this. Everyone that watches this show knows I love me some Rocco Becht. He's named Rocco, for heaven's sakes, and he's a battler. But he hasn't played well lately. He hasn't looked the same Rocco. He's not been Rocco-ish. Let's put it that way. So, Rocco, I got to break up with you, man. I'm sorry. I'm going to break up with you. And it's not me. It's you. It's you. And I don't know. I'm kind of eyeing Sam Levitt. Good, nice hair, fiery quarterback. I might go that direction. I don't know. But I'm also attracted to a bear. I'm just saying, it's a human, not really a bear. But there's some choices out there, and that kid over in Salt Lake City is pretty good looking too. So, well, one of those three, Rocco, you're out. That's what I'll need to say.
Oof.
Send all email complaints to Big B in Frisco, Texas.
No, please don't. Please don't. Yeah, that's wild. Yeah, he's just not playing very good right now. And Iowa State as a team, I mean, again, they were okay against Arizona State. I get it, but Arizona State had a backup. They just said, "Hey, we're going to run it," and they ran it right down their throat. That was ugly game, but good for Arizona State. We'll get to them in a minute. But Iowa State, it's come off the rails. At number 11, I have KU. I know people will complain about it. I don't care. KU is what it is, man. They were supposed to beat Oklahoma State. They went out and beat Oklahoma State. We knew they would look good. The Jalen Daniels, it's the reputation is what it is. You know, it'd be one thing if this was 1 year of seeing this from him. Big game doesn't come up big. That's the difference. That has been his MO. Not a big game, plays pretty well. And I mean, he didn't have crazy numbers, but he didn't turn the football over. He did his job against Oklahoma State, and they looked good. 2 weeks before they played Kansas State, he looked bad. I mean, let's just say he looked awful. And it is what it is at this point at KU. We'll see if they can hold on to their coach.
You know, when I started doing my own rankings, I noticed that after the bottom three and the top three, it's kind of a big hodgepodge.
Mm-hmm.
Cincinnati and Arizona State probably are playing a little bit better than other people, but I mean, is it that big a difference between TCU and Iowa State? Or well, we saw Baylor and Kansas State play. I mean, there was a 1 point difference. Kansas and Arizona. I think right now they're all pretty similar, and if any of those teams played, it would kind of be a toss-up. So that's interesting. We've never really had this kind of strong line we're seeing right now. As we unveil your rankings, it'll be obvious that there's an upper crust and maybe a secondary upper crust in everyone else.
Yeah, no, I think that's absolutely the case. It's just everybody convoluted and there's not a whole lot of separation. Not a whole lot of separation when it comes to the middle of this. So that's the first six. And again, for people that don't know, we compare it against the 24/7 publishers. They still got Iowa State. I mean, 4 games in a row is not enough for the publishers to say, I guess.
Yeah.
Whatever. And giving up, what was it, 115 points or whatever it is, still in 2 weeks, still enough to keep Colorado ahead of Oklahoma. I'm just not going to do that. I'm not going to do that, Fitz. I'm sorry. That Colorado has quit. Oklahoma State has not. And I'm going to give the credit to Oklahoma State. Colorado will probably beat the brakes off of them. They probably, that will happen. I understand. But I'm just not, until they do, I'm not going to give those guys credit. They should be ashamed of themselves on how they've played the last 2 weeks. So that's just me. Because they have quit. They have absolutely quit. So ugly. Let's move on. Number 10, I have Kansas State. Look, they got punished by Texas Tech. There's no doubt about that. They got beat up. But you kind of thought they would.
Yeah.
And it's what I said before going into the game. While a lot of people thought that this was his best that K-State had played all year going into the game, and it was, but K-State just wasn't as good as a football team as everybody thought they were going to be at the beginning of the year. They're not as good, and Texas Tech is a lot better than what most people thought they would be. And things held true. Barrett Morton's still running around. He's probably 70% at best. You can see him. He couldn't even walk. I mean, he's still limping around, walking out there playing. But they're just a better football team. But K-State fought, but this is where they are. I mean, they got it going. They got beat. They still got an opportunity to win some games and even play spoiler if it comes down to that.
Yeah.
But we'll see. We'll see. But for now, this is where I got them.
Yeah, again, it's kind of a big pile up there. You turn the ball over 3 times against Tech, which they did, and we're still in the game somehow, down 9 in the fourth quarter with the ball. But then they turned it over twice more just to make sure they got their asses kicked. I don't know if you're going to play a good team or a bad team, if you want to turn it over 5 times, you might lose. But if you're going to get it out of your system, better to do it there than in 2 weeks at Oklahoma State or to wind up the season with Colorado. Those should be 2 more wins, unless you turn it over 5 times. So maybe they got that out of their system, but Tech's good. Headline, Tech's really good.
Yes, they are. Yes, they are. At number 9, I got Baylor. Look, Baylor's defense showed up this week, Fitz. Something that we haven't seen all year. I mean, just out of nowhere, they found out they actually had a defense. It's amazing. Too bad this didn't show up 3 weeks ago. But here it is today against UCF. And Baylor's got an opportunity to play a little spoiler here. Again, they finished last year. They won 8 games last year. They'll need a bowl game to do it, but they got an opportunity. No, they don't need a bowl game to do it. Sorry. They got an opportunity to win 8 games again this year. Can they get there? Can they string together enough defense and finish football games the right way? We'll see. But that was a start. I'm not saying UCF is world beaters or anything, but it's a start. You got to start somewhere, and that was a good start on Saturday.
It was. Baylor's defense has kind of been the Sasquatch of the Big 12. We suspected it existed. We just had no evidence of it. And then all of a sudden Sasquatch walked into the living room and said, "Hey, I'm here. Serve me a drink." Except it's Baylor. It probably didn't want it. It probably wanted like a Fresca. But that was impressive. Where's that been, man? Where's that been? But if Baylor wants to defend, they're going to beat some people. I don't know what they have left, but that's been their problem, not offense. It's been their defense, and they put it together on this Saturday.
I mean, their schedule's not easy. They host Utah, at Arizona, and host Houston. So, again, spoiler, they got an opportunity to do that. Mm-hmm. They got an opportunity, so it will be there. At number 8, TCU. TCU again. TCU's they're not out of this thing, Fitz, which is wild. It is wild to just say that they are not out of this thing. I just don't like how they're playing. I just don't like how they're playing. And it was one thing to lose the way that they lost at Arizona State. Okay, fine. Arizona State's a good football team. But then you go to Kansas State and you just act like you're going to waltz in there and win, and you get blown out. Okay. And then they follow that up with an uninspiring win at West Virginia. And I'm like, guys, do you realize that you are not out of this thing? They have Iowa State, at BYU, at Houston, and Cincinnati left. There is a chance, Fitz. They got a chance. It's almost like, come on, man. Get with it. But I don't know if they're going to get with it, Fitz. I just don't.
They can cause absolute chaos, which you're a fan of, in the Big 12 by just winning out and probably making sure the Big 12 only gets one team in the playoff. But, you got to look out for yourself. And if you're the Frogs, you want a piece of that crown. And that's amazing what their schedule is. Good. Have fun with that, guys. Have fun. I have a feeling it won't go well.
It is tough, but the way they're playing, they have the talent to win out, Fitz. There is no doubt. They have the talent to win out, but there isn't a person that on earth that follows the Big 12 that would be surprised if they went winless the last 4 games, just because they just can't get with it. It's like, just get over the hump, something. But it is what it is. At number 7, I got Arizona. I congratulate Arizona. Hey, man, beat the brakes off Colorado. Good for you. Good for you. Your job is to go and destroy teams that want to quit and don't really want to play football and just acted like it was an in-season scrimmage. Well, good for you. And they did that. That game was over a quarter and a half. That game was over. And for all the people earlier on that got on us, Fitz, that said, well, why are you saying Arizona's so good? And I go, I never said Arizona was good. All I said was Arizona is miles better than what they were last year. And they are. And I don't care if they don't win another game this year. I don't care. They are still miles better than what they were last year. Good for them. Good for them. I got them at 7.
It's been amazing. We a couple times now we've thought, okay, they're going back to what we thought they'd be, and then they do something like this. Look, it doesn't surprise me they won at Colorado, but they handed them their heads.
Yes.
It was impressive on one hand and awful on the other hand if you're a Colorado person. But yeah, I like where you have Arizona. They're on the verge of separating too, aren't they?
They are.
And moving out of that next grouping.
They are. They're right on that cusp. At number 6, I'm sorry to do it. I got Houston. Look, Houston blew an opportunity. There's just no doubt. First off, the fans of Houston, first off, a Houston fan accused me all weekend of being a Texas Tech homer. And I think I've been to Lubbock once in my life, and that was to play against Texas Tech, but that's funny. But other than that, you treated, I don't know, they have so much support for that basketball team, and you go and you win a top 25 game on the road. You're ranked. You have an opportunity to go to Arlington and play in the Big 12 championship game. You come home. I don't know if there were 20,000 people in that stands, Fitz. That is in a 40,000 seat stadium. That is about as embarrassing as it gets. I understand the support isn't spectacular, and it's an inner city school. I totally understand that. But first of all, there's a ton of people that go to that university. There's a ton of alumni. You can't muster up enough to go support them. It was a nice day. I mean, it'd be one thing if it was a monsoon out. Okay, I'm not going and sitting in the rain. I don't know. That was embarrassing. But what was more embarrassing was the effort. And maybe that's the reason they didn't believe in them. Well, you got to give them a reason. And yeah, that was embarrassing against West Virginia. You got physically beat up at home against a team that you're better than. Just not ready for success, Fitz. And it happens. It happens. Just not ready to handle success. Didn't know how to handle it.
Let me ask you a question completely out of pocket here. What do you think Willie Fritz is at Houston next year? Because as a head coach coming off that big win, coming home and seeing that, I'd be furious.
I mean, you brought up the Arkansas thing last week, and I thought, nah, there's no way. He's just getting started. But is he? I mean, he did his job, and now somebody bigger's calling that's going to give me all the support that I want and give me an opportunity. And I just need to go in there because I can get recruits to Arkansas. I can get them there. You know, they got NIL money. They'll have it. They'll have money for him to come and spend there. And they got facilities. They got everything that you want at Arkansas. Why not? So I don't know. It'd be wild if he left, but we've seen crazier things. I mean, college basketball coaches do it all the time, Fitz. I mean, we had one in our conference. Wasn't here. I mean, he's been 3 schools in 10 months. So why not? If it were me and I ran out to 19,000 people and we're ranked and we got an opportunity to go to the Big 12 title game, possibly get in the college football playoff, and that's all the support we can get. I mean, and they're going to pay me a boatload of money somewhere else. I don't know why I wouldn't.
I know.
It would suck for Houston.
It would.
It would absolutely suck. And I'll be honest, I don't want them to leave.
I don't want him to leave either. Nope.
I don't want him to leave, but I wouldn't blame him if he did.
Yeah, that's where I'm at. I wouldn't blame him at all if he wanted to leave. But I hope he doesn't. I hope he can weather this. It's not a storm. It's almost like calm waters in the ocean. They're just kind of not going anywhere because you got to have fan support. You just do. And how the city to a degree hasn't kind of latched onto them, because that's what we see with a lot of these inner city or, big city programs that aren't like established nationally, is they become the trendy thing. Miami does it all the time. Miami's probably trendy again. When they were losing, they were not trendy and nobody was there. If you had that, it'd be okay, but they don't even have the trendy crowd show up. It's kind of disgusting. And any Houston fan that's mad at me, don't be mad at me. Be mad at your own fans.
Yeah.
Get to the damn games, people. Holy cow.
Get to the game. That's exactly right. Because that was ridiculous. That was ridiculous. That's all I can say. Pretty pathetic. At number 5, I got Arizona State. I had no thoughts of them going to Iowa State and winning, Fitz. I thought there was no way they were going to do it. You know who's got a good football team? Arizona State has a good football team. Yes. Arizona State has a good football coach, a good culture, a good program. That is how you build culture in a program. When your quarterback goes out and you say, we're going on the road and we still are not out of this Big 12 thing, we're going to come up with a game plan and go beat a team on the road. And that's exactly what Arizona State did. They got a culture built there, Fitz. That locker room believes. First of all, they got good players, but nobody thought Jeff Sims in what he had shown, nobody thought that he was going to be able to go to Iowa State and win. Not only did they do that, they went to Iowa State and bullied Iowa State. 229 rushing yards, 29 carries. Give me a break. I mean, give them all the credit in the world. Give that team credit. And again, they're not out of this thing, Fitz. They are absolutely not out of this thing.
Jeff Sims sounds like the name you would give a quarterback that you made on your computer game.
Mm-hmm.
You know, he's Jeff Sims. You know, he looked fantastic. But for all of his struggles throughout his career at his 17 different university stops, that has to be the best he's looked. He was confident. He's having fun. Oh my gosh. He was, that's going to be a game he's going to carry through the rest of his life.
Yep.
Grandpa, why'd you go to 3 different schools? Well, I did, but let me tell you about the game. You know, Absolutely. It's going to be with him his whole life. Congratulations. And that was great coaching.
Yes.
They designed a game plan that fit them and how they put together with Iowa State and just pried Iowa State apart, just took them apart.
Absolutely. I mean, again, that's the definition of how you build a program, how you build a culture within the program is our star quarterback, our everything quarterback is out. We're not out of it. Our season literally isn't over. We can still get to the Big 12 title game if things fall our way, but we got to go on the road and find a way to win. They did it. They did it, and I'm proud of them for it. So happy for Arizona State fans because, again, it was easy for them to go in the tank, Fitz. They could have went in the tank, and nobody would have blamed them. Like, quarterback's done. Your backup hasn't shown anything. It's going to be a rough one. Well, it wasn't. It wasn't. So good for them. So that is the next 6. What do we have here from the publishers? Ooh, Arizona State, Houston, TCU. Come on, Baylor. Come on, give Arizona State or give Arizona some credit, publishers. And Iowa State in the top 10 is egregious. Get out of here. I want to hear it. Gee, how many games does Iowa State have to lose before we say they're not that good? Like, how many games in a row are we gonna let them lose before we say, maybe they're just not that good? Apparently, the publishers 4 in a row is not enough. That's not enough. It's got to be more. I don't agree.
You just dropped the word egregious on the publishers. Ouch.
I did. It is. Come on. You got to be better than that. Ain't no better than that. You know, you can't. I mean, look, power rankings are week to week. And I get it. If somebody 2 weeks ago blows the doors off of somebody, that's a different thing. But how many times in a row do you get to lose before somebody just finally says, well, maybe you're not as good as this team. Maybe you're not as good as that team. Sooner or later, the trickle effect has to happen. And I would guess 4 games would be enough. Apparently, the publishers say, nah, 4 games, not enough. Moving on. Number 4, I got Cincinnati. Look, there's levels to it. I said it yesterday. There are levels to this thing, and Cincinnati found out that there are levels to this. That was ugly. That was ugly at Utah on Saturday. Nothing that the Bearcats should be ashamed of, though. You know, a lot of people, myself included, had questioned, had they really been tested by good football teams? The answer to that was no. But what would they do when they got tested by one? Well, I think 2 things are true. One, Cincinnati's a good football team, but they're not elite. Utah, while they've lost 2 games, can still be classified as elite. And they showed Cincinnati what the difference between a good football team and an elite football team looks like. And that's what we saw on Saturday, Fitz.
Very interesting completion here, their schedule. It looks like they have Arizona coming to Cincinnati in a week.
Mm-hmm.
Then they go to TCU, and then they got BYU.
It's tough. It's tough.
Well, actually, I got those backwards. They got BYU second. I hate how Google displays schedules. It's ridiculous. And then Cincinnati closes at TCU.
Right. I mean, it's tough, but they're not done. They got a chance, but it's tough because that Arizona game is going to be a lot more difficult than I think maybe Cincinnati fans think. Arizona is a better football team than what people may want to believe. I'm not saying they're upper echelon of the Big 12. I'm not saying that. But I just know if you watch them play, they get after you. And that'll be a good football game. That will be a good football game. But look, Cincinnati has nothing to hang their heads about. And again, by all means, they are not out of this. I mean, it could have just been a bad football game. Who knows? I don't think that's necessarily the case. I think they're a notch below the top three. But being 4 in the Big 12 is not a bad thing, Fitz. That is not a bad thing at all. And again, a break goes their way. They do get BYU at home. They get them at home. So who knows? Who knows? That number 3, I have Utah. Utah has cemented itself as an upper echelon team in the country. Not just in the Big 12, but in the country. They have proven that. Yes, they have 2 losses, but look who they lost to. They lost to Texas Tech and they lost to BYU. Those 2 teams are in the top 10 in the country. And as much as Utah fans may not want to admit it, BYU is a good football team.
Yep.
And, there's just no ifs, ands, or buts about that. They are. We know Tech is a good football team. You lost both of those games. But other than that, Utah's kind of been on a rampage here lately, Fitz. I mean, they lost to BYU, but when they've been winning games, they've been pasting people. Yep. And again, to try to separate themselves. And that's why I said the other day, now I don't think it'll happen because I think the powers that be will never let 3 Big 12 teams get into the college football playoff. I mean, they'd rather cut their right arm off than to allow that to happen. And don't get me wrong, Utah, BYU, and Texas Tech didn't do themselves any favors in the non-conference schedule, to be able to decipher, okay, did you challenge yourself? They didn't. Having said all of that, Utah's really good. They're really good.
Yeah, they are. They've got an opportunity here to.
Mm-hmm.
You talk about 3 into the playoff, which I can't imagine the committee doing that because they've devalued the Big 12 so much the wins don't matter.
Correct.
But they've got an off week, then they go to Baylor, and they have Kansas State, then they go to Kansas. If this plays out as it should, this should be a 2-loss team at that point.
Mm-hmm.
And possibly not making the Big 12 title game. Now that is the best case scenario for the Big 12.
Yeah.
10-2, done playing, not going to get another loss hung on them. That's exactly how the Big 12 can sneak that 3rd team in. But the other side of that is Baylor, K-State, KU, none of that moves the needle nationally.
Right.
To say, oh, we've had them wrong. But when you get to the end and it's 10-2, 10-2 is 10-2 in a power conference. Means you played pretty damn good football. Oh, who'd you lose to? The 2 teams better than us in the conference, 2 teams that played for the Big 12 title. That is everything the Big 12 needs to get that 3rd school in.
Correct.
And I suspect, I'm going to go on the line here. I suspect the Big 12 will only get 2, and one of them will be Utah. I think we got some chaos coming to make your life wonderful.
You know me. More chaos, the better. And I think you may be right. I think some chaos is going to be coming. So, at number 2, I got Texas Tech. And number 2, Texas Tech, and number 1, BYU. Look, if you ask me to bet, I would say Tech is better than BYU. If you were just asking me, hey,
Right.
Big B, who do you think is better? Tech is better than BYU. Now, we're going to see it this week. We're going to find out who's better. But that's what I would just say. I watch football. I watch the games. You look at the teams and how they match up. Tech is better. But that doesn't always mean that that's what happens on a football field, Fitz. It doesn't mean that, man. And we're going to find out. We are going to find out how good both of these football teams are. I suspect they're both very, very good. Not I suspect. I know they're both very, very good. I just think Tech has another level that it can go to that I'm not sure anybody else in the conference can. And they lost the game. It was without their starting quarterback. And do they look better with him? They absolutely do. They 100% look better when he's out there, even at 70%, which he is. He is not 100%. You can just see him out there limping around, but they're just a better football team. The receivers get activated, something that didn't happen when Will Hammond was out there. Their receivers and that passing game gets activated. They can also run it, don't get me wrong, but what makes them so dangerous on offense is because just when you think they're going to run it, then they throw it over your head.
Yeah.
And then just when you think they're going to throw it over your head, then they're going to run it right down your throat. And then you unleash that defensive line on people, and maybe the best college football player or defensive player in the country at linebacker position, Rodriguez. I mean, it's just, you just keep going on and on and on. But BYU's good too, man. They got that culture thing going, and they got good players. I think that goes kind of take a back seat, Fitz, is people talk about BYU and culture and program, but they forget to mention BYU's got good football players. I don't care what your culture is. If you don't have good football players, it doesn't mean a damn thing. They have good football players too.
This is it for Tech. They got to win this. They win this, they're in the Big 12 championship game.
Yep.
They win this, I think they're in the playoff. I think. If they lose it, it gets a little more interesting. After this, they play host to UCF. Then they have an off week really late. That's weird. And then they close at West Virginia. Those should be wins. So this is really kind of the game right now. I think Tech is. I just saw them with my own eyes. I watched them play without Baron Morton. They're just a much better team with him. But they have this thing they do. They've done it to Utah, and now they've done it to Kansas State. It's a close game. The opposition's kind of hanging around, and then the pressure cooker just takes the lid off the game.
Right.
I mean, and then all of a sudden you look at the final score and it looks like a blowout. When it was competitive for 3.5 quarters, they just keep applying pressure and pressure and pressure until you get to the point where you got to make a play. You got to gamble, and they cash that gamble in. They're fun to watch. They're really good. That defense is absolutely outstanding when they want to be. And just as an aside, Kansas State ran for 100 and some yards, and fans were all up in arms that's all they could run for. It's the most yards on the ground Tech's given up this year. They just take away your running game. And any coach will tell you, if you take away another team's running game, you got them where you want them. And that's what they do really well.
They do. And the thing about BYU's going to run it. BYU wants to run that football. We'll see if old man LJ Martin is back. We'll see what's going on because they had some running back issues, some injuries. We'll see what happens. I'm looking forward to the game. I'm really looking forward to this game. I think it's showcase game. Game day is going to Lubbock. To me, I think it's the best game in the country. I think we've had that the last couple of weeks, to be honest. One of the biggest games in the country. This one, I don't think there's even a doubt that it's the best game in the country. And it's at 11, which I like. First thing, let's get it going. So, but that's where we're at. What are the final sayings as far as the publishers are saying? If they've got anything other than, well, they can't because we know what they all are. The exact same. So, I mean, if you could put a mark under Utah and say separation, and then Cincinnati at 4, that's what it would be, because there's a clear separation from those top 3, which is what we've all been asking for, saying that, hey, we need to have some people at the top to run away with this thing and be the best team. Well, we got that this year. We got it so far. so far.
No, stop and think about this. This will be the second week in a row that ESPN has gone to a Big 12 institution for game day. After not doing it all last year and leading up to this back-to-back. But it's 4 different schools too.
Yeah.
And not included in that is the 4-2 team that's 5th in the standings and the defending Big 12 champions. I haven't been to them this year. So can you please stop with this? The Big 12 doesn't have enough good teams, and why are you going covering them?
Exactly.
You can't sit out of the side of your mouth and say everyone in the SEC is superior to the Big 12, and that's what we believe as a network. But oh yeah, we're going to go to this game instead of, I don't know, Mississippi State against Florida. Exactly. If they're all better, why don't you do that? I don't even know who's playing the SEC because they give no craps about the SEC. But yeah, they're obviously good teams in this conference. But boy, BYU Big B has got its hands full coming down the stretch. They just had their last off week. They're going now. 4 straight. They go to Tech. They have TCU come in. They go to Cincinnati, and then they close with UCF. So if Tech, I don't think they will, but if Tech takes them apart and damages that confidence, do we see what happened to BYU last year?
Right.
Where they were so good and then they started to lose their momentum as the season went on. That's where I think the Big 12 might end up with just 2 and included in Utah. But we'll see how this all runs down. This is going to be a fun finish of the conference, Big B. We've got college game day at a Big 12 institution again for the second time. I probably won't be able to watch the game because I'm so unhappy with ESPN that I'm actually siding with Google. I don't know. It's like your 2 worst enemies fighting, and you're like, okay, it's like the Soviets and the Germans. We'll go for them. I mean, I just want them all to lose, but here we are, ESPN and Disney versus Google. We don't have ESPN. Maybe I'll get on the Twitter machine and see they solved it, but no, they're just hurting themselves at this point. They just paid a lot of money for the SEC and NBA, and now people can't watch it.
Yeah, it's crazy. And last week hurt them. I suspect it'll get fixed before this week because last week absolutely hurt them. You telling me advertisers are going to stand for that? No, they are absolutely not going to stand for that. Not even a little bit. To cut out that many viewers, I suspect something will get done before the weekend. But either way, I'm looking forward to the games this weekend. Should be interesting. Only 5 games, and unfortunately, we have a Friday game. Anyway, it is what it is.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know. Friday football in the Big 12. But it is what it is. Only 5 games this week. A lot of teams are on bye this week. But we got the showcase game, Texas Tech and BYU. So appreciate everybody being here. Thank you again, as always, and we will talk to you soon.
Thank you for watching the Big 12 Insiders, your Big 12 sports show. This has been a Spirit Street production.